How you going, brothers? And the occasional sister. Raining outside, having a brew. Got Tilly the toilet brush here sitting on my lap. She's from the Wakefield homestead, little comfort dog. She's not working today. So I've just had three mates staying with me, Sneak, Thomas and Romus. We went for a hunt on Sunday and it was bloody good. But what was really good was not just the hunt, was just hanging out with men. And that's what today's video is about. The importance of you as a bloke hanging out with men. Doing man stuff. Getting away from your wife, getting away from your daughters, getting away from women. That's not a chauvinistic thing, that's just a natural thing for us men to do. I embrace women, I love them, I love my daughters, and I think that I can't even get my head around cultures that diss women when you consider that everybody has a mother, and that's where we come from. Some of these eastern countries, they're terrible to women, they cover up their faces, and I think it's disgusting. And whilst I'm open to cultural experiences and different cultures, I think any sort of culture that puts a woman below a man is wrong. That's my absolute truth. And if you have a problem with that, then unsubscribe to this channel. Okay, moving along. Why is it important for us blokes to hang out with men? Well, it's something that we've always done. We evolved doing it. We did it to survive. We always had battles and from one village to another. And fighting's been an integral part of our survival, and we've done it not by doing it single-handedly, but by getting together a tribe, deciding who's going to be leader, who's the alpha male, who's going to lead us through it, who's going to lead us through to safety, and that is still very much today a part of who we are. Of course, it's been changed with things like rugby or gaming, all these things that replicate that, but it comes from that. And the other part it comes from is hunting. For not all of our time through history, there's been times where we've lived off plants, but there's also been times where we've eaten a lot of meat and we've been hunters. In the savannah plains, where we finally learnt to stand up going from all fours and stand up to see above everything, we started hunting. And there's a lot of theories around that. We could crunch ideas, but basically hunting originally started off with man chasing after the animal most of the time and doing it in a tribe. So they'd go off together and they'd start to run an animal down. Human beings have a sweat gland, so we can sweat and cool ourselves. Animals don't. Eventually they become exhausted. They are faster than us, but if you've got a bunch of men running, say, a gazelle down, eventually, after kilometres and kilometres, what'll happen is the animal will go at a fast spurt and get ahead. The men keep an eye on it, they just lope along slowly, come to it again, it'll do another sprint, and each time it'll sprint maybe 800 metres, then 600 metres, then 500, and eventually at 100 metres a time, and as it becomes more exhausted, it would eventually be standing there with its legs splayed, its tongue hanging out, its organs have overheated, the kidneys are frying and cooking, the man's cooled himself down with his long, slim body cooling in the wind, his hair and the sweat cooling under his armpits and around his organs and his face and his chest. He cools himself much better. We're a much better piece of machinery for going through the heat, and we've adapted to do that. And eventually the animal's splayed-legged, tongue hanging out, he takes out his spear and gives it the coup de grace. That's an interesting thing because he's running, but out of the group of men, there's really only one man that's going to get there first, and he's going to be giving it the death blow, and then he'll be the alpha male, and then the next male will come up, and the alpha male will, of course, get to have the first best part of that, which generally will be the liver, the part of the meat that's got the most nutrition, and then the men would, down the track, depending who was last there, would get the last bits, and then the rest would be carried back, not only by the men, but also the women. Someone would, Charlie and Charlie would probably have to run back to the village and say there's an animal over on that, where the two dead trees are, in the far south, and they'd go running up there, and they'd carried out in a tribal manner back to the village, and they'd all eat. When they got back to the village, the bloke that had been the fastest, that had killed it, he would be the hero. He's the one that made so everyone could eat, and he would be the one that had mating rights. He would have more than one wife, because being with this man would mean the survival of the woman and their children, the offspring. So this deep-rooted thing of being able to provide and also to protect is still very much with women today, but it's been replaced with money and social standing. And other things too, like humour and other nuances that us people have. Status. Women want to be provided for, and they want to be protected. And they want love too. But first and foremost, they want to be protected against the evils of this life, just generally other men, and they want to have a guarantee that their children are going to be brought up in a safe environment, that they're going to be supported by that man in one form or another. So the ancient way of how we've evolved past that, but those layers of our being are still very much intact. And today, you can see it. And you wonder, like I remember Rod Stewart, one of my favourite singers when I was younger, great blues singer but also great pop singer. He was married to a very famous New Zealand model, Rachel Hunter. And the distance and the age gap in those two, I thought, how does an old bloke like that pull a bird like that? She's absolutely gorgeous. She must be 20 years younger than him. How did he do that? And I thought about it, I thought, well, he's got social standing. He's right at the top, he's famous. He's got all the money in the world. He still looks good for his age. That's got to be, in some level, what attracted her to him. Because she's at the top of her field. And you see it time and time again. You see people and you think they look a bit mismatched. Dig a bit deeper. He's got something going on there that you haven't got or I haven't got. And I think that that's part of the equation. I think physical attraction is very, very important. The symmetrical face. Women are also attracted to looks like we are, but we place looks a lot higher because we're looking as from men in our subconscious as somebody that will make good, healthy children that will have a good, strong immune system, and a woman who will give us good offspring. We don't think about that. We don't go, oh, she'll make good babies. We just go, she's gorgeous. Oh, I'd like to be with her. And then nature kicks in and we fall into that trap of falling in love. The in love feeling only lasts about 18 months to 2 years, that real chemical reaction. That wears off and then the real love starts to happen, or it doesn't happen. And the real love is shown by actions. There's 5 languages of love, and I don't know what they are. You can write them below if you want to in the comment section, the 5 languages of love. I know one of them is the act of giving, one's act of kind words, one is giving someone your time, one is acts of service, I think, and don't know what the 5th one is. Not sure what that is, but yeah, anyway, I digress. Those points are the things that really you will, in the relationship, start to give one form or another to show your love. Love is an action. It's not a word. Words are important, and that sounds like a bit of a because I just said in that last the 5 languages of, or the 5 languages of love. One of them is words, but they are words that are followed up with action. So I need to verify that bit there. If it makes any sense to you, it sounds a bit confusing, doesn't it? Anyway, all aside, when you have somebody, if they say I love you all the time, but they don't follow up with an action, then it starts to wear a bit thin. If they're not showing you by acts of love that they love you, then it starts to wear a bit thin. Love is an action, and it needs to be followed up by action. So there's people that like to keep people hanging on for their own use, but they don't really love them. They do things like keep on saying something, oh, I love you, baby, but really there's no love going. It's a one-way street. Time to move on from that one. You men out there, make time for other men, to hang out with other men. It's healthy, it's natural. I've got loads of mates. Get the balance back in your life. A lot of men fall in love with somebody and then they forget about their mates. They move on. They kind of like fall into that relationship with the woman, and they suddenly forget their mates. And I've lost a few mates that have done this. They always circle back to me. They always orbit back eventually after a couple of years or 3 years. And I say to them, mate, I was always here. You're the one that pulled away from me. And it's easy when you fall in love that you give all, but so many relationships fail when the woman tries to change the bloke and says, look, you're going to have to give up your hunting for me. I can think of a few mates that have done that. It's never really going to work. There is compromise in a relationship for sure, but giving up something you're so passionate about to please her, it still won't work in the end. Never does. Make time for your mates. Hang out with your mates and check on a brother. Check on your mates. This is what this channel's about, is checking on each other. But check on your mates, and that means spending time and showing your mates love by actions, by deeds, by doing things, by helping them out. I know who my mates are. They're the ones that come around and help me with shit. They're the ones that tell me to get my shit sorted, and then they help me sort it. They don't just say get your shit sorted, but they put it into action. Hey mate, you need to tidy this bloody mess up, and then they're turning up the trailer the following weekend, and they're helping me. It's not just pointing the finger and telling me to do something, it's helping me, and it's vice versa. I got mates that I help out, and I'm proactive at helping them too. Right, Tilly and I are going to finish off the day, going to have me drink. I hope you got through this long-winded message all right, without me making it sound too confusing. Shout out to Colin Price, you've got the most hearts on the channel so far, buddy. Shout out to Selwyn, just for being a good bastard and following the channel. Who else should we do a shout out for? Luke, shout out to you, mate. Noticed you in the comment section quite a bit. Shout out to Gerard, thanks buddy for your comments. To John in the UK, thanks for yours, mate. There's just so many people, I'll start doing that now, I won't finish. Okay, have a bloody good day. It's raining outside. We're going to take the toilet brush out and let it go to the toilet, finish off the brew, and then crank back into the day. See you later.